welcome everybody to another episode of the Rising Lights podcast with myself, Intrepidus1, and my co-host, Enrage Kitsune. Say hello, Kit.
Another week, another episode. Welcome, guys.
And so far as I'm aware, I haven't done nothing to mess up the start up of this particular episode, so we should be good. And joining us on this week's episode is someone who has listened to every one of the episodes up until this point. A good friend of ours, Solidus Lee. You want to say hello, Lee?
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Okay, so just to get a little bit of a formality out of the way, let me switch to the full screen right there. As usual, we came in to part of the plan. The song that you listened to just there was Limitless. Again, as I think I've said it on previous episodes, a lot of the lyrics that they put down in their songs or titles kind of relate to what a lot of streamers should have a mindset of. I don't know about you two, but I personally feel like the horizons for streaming are limitless. Like, I think we said it when we raided Silver Spear the other day, and you was in my chat, Lee. It doesn't stop with partner. Like, you just keep going. Do you know what I mean? So
Exactly. It's just a stepping stone. if you will.
exactly, yeah. And good friend of ours who we want to have on at some point is in the chat as well, Demonic Ronin. There you go, Ronin. How are you? Right, so let's get into it. Now that we've covered that little base, Lee, I've got your Twitch page up, your about section. Do you want to give us a little intro to who you are and what you're all about, sort of thing? What you mainly play, and obviously we've got that up on screen anyway, but go ahead. Give us a little
Alright.
intro to
Well, as you can see, Solidus Lee. I stream 5 days a week, except for this week, but I stream a lot. And I play generally shooters, mostly Destiny, but I dabble in others like Valorant, stuff like that. And I'm a huge advocate for the Black Lives Matter. I preach that a lot, and I deal with a lot of crap in my chat sometimes, and I just ban people. I don't put up with it.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually asked someone we have mutually, I think along the list of people that we have sort of met through each other through is Anubis. That we,
Yeah.
we both. I actually asked him one week in his chat. I was just like, dude, as someone who is white, I don't want to appear to be putting, BLM or like saying Black Lives Matter in my
Yep.
streams as some sort of hype gimmick. So how can I, sort of put that across without, just going, oh yeah, it obviously matters. Like, the way I look at it is obviously the way that a lot of us that actually know what it means look at it, which is and Anubis actually shown me this, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form embarrassed to say this, because I was back when it all first kicked off.
Of
One
course.
one of those that was like, well, yeah, all lives matter, so of course Black lives matter. But then Anubis sort of said, look at this, look at that. The rolling timers he has in his chat of go to this Twitter thread, go to this article, that article, and you read through these things and you learn that yes, we all, those that are saying, oh, well, of course, all lives matter, they have the mindset of, well, yeah, your lives matter because to me, all lives matter. But the problem is, whilst there's that systematic racism there, and the higher ups in government, etc., don't accept or are kind of corrupt to, well, you know what? maybe they don't and start like beating on them and on all, the horrible things you see in the news and stuff.
Oh, it's
Then yeah,
disgusting.
you can't say that all lives matter until Black Lives Matter. Therefore, that's where it comes from, and not a lot of people understand that. And I, like I said, had to sort of be taught that myself through Anubis, because I was raised in a household where everyone was equal. You were all human. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, your background, whatever. So I was one of the. Well, of course it is, but I didn't realize there were people, not only in the older generation but also in our generation, that looked at it and went, you know what? No, they don't, because this, that, and the third, and it's just taught to them from their parents. So the book essentially stops with our generation. So like a lot of people who come to my stream know I have 2 kids. I'm a father of 2. One's 3, who's going to nursery for the first time on Wednesday next week, which is our version of kindergarten, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And one is 8 and is in year 3, like 3rd grade, essentially. And one thing I've tried to sort of instill in them is, the same mindset that I have, which is everybody's equal, no matter who they are, what they sexually prefer, what they, and we covered this kind of with an episode with Cyborg a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
In a sense of like making sure people are properly labeled in, they, their, him, her, whatever it may be. And it's kind of hard to try and make a 8-year-old understand, but
It is.
I'm doing my best. And it's a little
I think it just
easier.
comes with time.
Yeah, it's a little easier on me because his uncle, my fiance's half brother, is mixed race, so his dad is black. So it's a little easier on me. I can't understand. I could not even try to think how hard it must be for someone who's trying to stop, the same systematic system, racism, in their household if they're all surrounded by white, like parents and grandparents, etc. You know,
Exactly.
because you don't know what grandparent Roger is saying to young Timmy over there.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's a part of the problem.
exactly.
A lot of uneducated people, and I would say country, but it's more of a world problem, honestly.
100%.
And
Yeah, it's definitely worldwide.
you mentioned Anubis, and he was one of the guys I was listening to the Vibecast, and I asked a question. I was like, how do you get the point across without coming across as maybe not sounding so like virtue signaling?
Yeah.
And he just said consistency. Just retweets and just like he just said stand up for it. And that's basically what I've been doing ever since.
Yeah. I basically said like I don't want to appear to be clout chasing because
Exactly.
it's not a situation that, for one, it's not a situation you should be clout chasing. Do you know what I mean? But it's also somebody who actually believes in the whole thing.
Mhm.
Right? Exactly as I basically just described it, that all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Someone who believes that way, like, you definitely don't want to appear to be clout chasing, because of the simple fact somebody, you know, who you respect. Like, let's say someone came into my chat randomly from, the stream, and I said, like, and they said something racist, and then I turn around and says, like, get the out of it, like, blah blah, this, that, and the other, banned them, and said, something along the lines of, I don't need racist pieces of crap like you in my community, because, contrary to popular belief, all lives matter when Black Lives Matter. And then they clip that but cut out the end of it. and then sent it on Twitter, and let's say Anubis or Amaze, which just to name two black creators who I respect and enjoy watching. If they were to get like wind of it and then come ask me like, what the fuck is this? You know, you're saying all lives matter, because they've cut off, you know, the Black Lives Matter at the end. Then I would be like, well, shit, like, there is no way for me to explain that other than go back in my own VOD, and you know, depending on how long it is, there's a possibility where it won't even be possible. You know what I mean? So, and I would hate for them to think that is the reason I'm saying it, is because, oh well, I just want the brownie points, if you will, because
Yeah,
I
that's
was raised in a proper like right household in a sense of ideas. Yeah,
same.
growing up wasn't always the best, and I lived in some suburbs that have a very high gang population. Let's put it that way. And obviously, growing up, I got into some questionable shit, but ideals wise, with regards to stuff like that, and you know, right from wrong, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I was always taught the right way. That's one thing I'll always be thankful to my mom for. So, um, so carry on. We went on a little bit of a tangent there, but carry on with your little bit of an introduction.
For sure. No, I'm glad, because I
Yeah,
think it's something a lot
definitely.
of people don't talk about, and I think it's something that people should be talking about a lot more. That's all.
Yeah.
Especially, I think especially white and other color content creators, because I notice people tend to stray away from it a lot, and
Mm.
I just think it needs to be talked about a lot more.
But,
In a sense where it's comfortable, you know.
yeah, for sure.
But
And
yes, I can move on a little bit. I also want to say that I play all aspects of Destiny. I play strikes, Crucible, everything, raids. I do it all. So if you ever watch, I'm always playing something, and I don't play the same content. I always mix it up. So I'm always raiding, always gaming. Ever want to join? You can always jump in.
yeah. So I see, you know, you like your sports as well, the about section, like NFL and pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, huge sports fan. Yeah, pro wrestling especially.
Eddie says he's always throwing.
Eddie's great. He's a huge supporter of mine. I love Eddie.
Yeah, I see him in a few chats. Like I've seen him in.
Oh, he's all over.
Yeah, I've seen him in Anubis's. I've seen him in Odysseus. I've seen him in Dune Marches. I think.
Yep.
I think it was Dune Marches. I've seen him in yours. Like you say, he's all over. He's kind of like me in that aspect. And I put a tweet out, quote tweeting somebody yesterday, which was basically just like, I got a bunch of people who I know would have liked it, and it was basically this person tweeted it. I think it was Amaze, actually. It was Amaze's like motivational video for yesterday on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and in there he just said, like, you know, essentially be there to see others succeed, and you know, don't get hung up on it, because they succeed, the likelihood is you succeed, and etc etc. And I turned around and just, you know, tagged it, well, quote tweeted it, and just put, y'all see me in multiple streams at once or up supporting my friends in the in NA. This is 100% what I'm doing. Show love for them, because I know they deserve it. And so, like, it might be 5 a.m. for me, but so long as I can be awake, like whether I'm just not tired or my daughter's woke up, I'm gonna be in your guys' streams, just whether I'm just lurking when I'm playing games, chilling while she's watching something on her tablet or whatever. Typically, what she'll do, watch the cartoons for a couple of hours, put her back to sleep. That is,
As Otis says. Intrepidus doesn't sleep.
I mean, most of the time now. But yeah, like I'm. That's the whole point of this podcast. Like I've said it in other podcasts. I'm sure you've heard it because like I said, is your intro. You've listened to all
Yep.
of them so far.
I sure have.
The whole point is, we sort of get people on. We build up people. So like there might be people in mine and Kit's communities that come and check these out every week that haven't seen you, haven't seen Otis, but then they saw you last week, Otis, and they see you this week, Lee, and they're like, you know what? These guys seem like cool guys. They have a great conversation about interesting topics, and the fact that obviously a lot of it is Destiny related, which is what
Yeah.
most of us are main games, and then they're watching us who are playing Destiny a lot. Kit plays it, supposed to play it only 2 days a week, but
How's that go, Kit?
I don't. It's not that I only play it 2 days a week. It's that I only stream it 2 days a week. Sometimes, I'll just be like, oh, I'll just get on and do like the stuff I'm a hunter or whatever.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I was implying.
Although, yes, the past week has been 0 for 2. Actually, not 0 for 1 for 6. I think. Of
Yeah,
the past 6
but I
days
was
I've
also I was also implying sometimes you're supposed to like do your Saturday random game,
Yeah,
and you end up on
that was
Destiny.
different. Oh yeah. I do play something else first though, and then switch.
A fun game. It's very addictive.
Yeah. So, seeing how you mentioned your love of sports before, I think we should probably start.
Yeah,
with
we'll start with this one.
You know where we're going with this, okay?
Oh, I do.
We'll start
yeah.
with the
This article here.
basketball article that we got.
Yeah. So the International Basketball Federation, or FIBA, signed a deal with Twitch to be the first major governing body to enter in what they call a strategic collaboration with the interactive streaming service.
All right. So you made a note on the doc, Kit. That for anybody who doesn't know,
Yeah.
we have a document that we keep all our links and stuff, so it makes it easier for us to gather the articles and whatnot that we're gonna talk about, and then sort of order them, keep a record essentially.
Yeah. So
You
when I
said
was
you wanted to start from the paragraph starting premium events, so that's what
So
I've
when
got
I
up.
was reading through, so when I was reading through this article, this particular paragraph stood out, and you probably figure out why as we go through it.
Right.
So obviously the first part is neither here nor there, but premium events such as the World Cup and Eurobasket will remain within their existing broadcast partners, but they'll show match replays and highlights on Twitch. And the article claims this is important because it'll boost the most intriguing element of the partnership, which is the UGC.
Yeah.
Us lot. The end of this paragraph is what I wanted to point out. So they said the FIBA will make all of its assets available to Twitch users in the hope that they'll create new formats and build audiences that aid the organization's growth efforts.
So essentially turning streamers to ESPN.
Shoutcast, yeah, essentially, yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
people who so the kind of people who currently would do like shoutcasting for
We had Sev on
sports game
second
tournaments
week. He does
would be able
shoutcasting.
to, would be able to do a similar thing and analyze the replays and stuff for actual matches.
A pretty confident step in the thing that I've been saying for, well, I'm 28, about a week, so 16 years, that Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that are the new TV. Like,
I agree.
I don't care what anybody says in the older generation. You try and get, like, for me, for instance, my daughter's, like I said, 3. My son is 8. I try and get them to sit down and watch, I don't know, TV, news, whatever. Here's the news. Learn what's going on in our local area. Blah, blah, this, that, and the other. Nope. Not having none of it. You try and get them to sit down and watch a sitcom. Nope. Not having none of it. You put YouTube on, which I've got, because I've got my old Xbox downstairs. You put YouTube on, let them pick whatever video they want to watch, and go at it. Boom. They're happy for the rest of the fucking day. Like, you don't need, as long as they, have a regular break, have, meals, drink, encouraged to play with toys whilst they're doing it, so they're listening to some episodes of whatever they're watching. They will sit there for hours and watch.
And it's actually pretty crazy the amount of information that is on these platforms
Exactly,
as well.
yeah. A lot of the educational things that my missus would put on for my daughter, for instance, have and my son when he was a baby. Although it was a bit different when my son was a baby, it was more a program, a TV station called Baby TV, and it was all to do with, teaching them certain words and whatnot. But yeah, like with regards to watching things for long periods of time, I think we had it on a graph a couple weeks back, didn't we, Kit? Where it was obvious that people watched more Twitch live streams for longer than they did, any other content, and then close second was YouTube. And it's like they're losing people to these platforms.
And I'd like to actually touch on the sports thing a little bit. The NFL actually streamed a couple games this past season over Twitch, and it did surprisingly well. They were pleased with the viewership, so I think that could be a bigger thing in the future.
Yeah, it's essentially the problem is getting the. I heard somebody say this before, and I can't remember who it was, but it's getting the old men at the top of these. It might even be. You know what it is? It was Optic Hex, right? So anybody who knows who Optic Hex is, he's a big content creator for YouTube. Took over the Optic team in 2006. Ran it up until a year and a half ago, to where he took investment from an investment group. They took over. He sort of let go of the reins a little because he wanted to spend more time with his family, which is completely understandable. Long story short, it ended up going to where he no longer had any part of it last year. So his Call of Duty team that had always been Optic, they had a pro Call of Duty team, was under Chicago Huntsman last season during the Modern Warfare CDL. This year, he managed to buy it back before the new season started, so they're back under Optic. But if something hadn't happened in a key game between the Huntsman and what was Optic Gaming LA, which is the new the people who took over when he basically had nothing else to do with it, which was Immortals Gaming Club. If one player hadn't beat an Optic player in the final, the final game of Search and Destroy, to basically cause them to be third and Optic to be fourth, then the sale wouldn't have gone through. So it's a big story. If you want to go and watch it, it's on YouTube, or just search Optic Hex and I'm sure you'll find it. But anyway, he always says it's not the problem of they won't these sports will not work on Twitch. because you have FIFA, games that are streamed on Twitch. You have NBA games, video games that are streamed on Twitch. You have hockey games that are streamed on Twitch, like that are made video games. So what's the difference between that and it actually being live streamed? The difference is that the television companies pay, NHL so much a month, so much a year for a licensing fee, which is basically what the existing broadcasting partners are in this article. But the point I'm trying to get to is the more you get the younger generation coming up and taking over, exactly what Otis said as well, and
That's what I
ad
was
revenue.
about to say. Yep.
The more you get the younger generation come and take over these companies, the more they're going to be looking to dip their toe into streaming services like Twitch to VOD review by creators that enjoy the sports such as yourself. Like me personally, this really, a couple of Twitch clips of basketball really don't bother me because I'm not into basketball. I'm not really into any sport, except esports, which is obviously why I brought it to a COD standpoint. But the more you get the younger ones taking over and going, you know what, let's dip our toe in here, the more they're going to slowly just become, okay, you know what, we can make enough money just off of, being on Twitch, being streams, being subscriber only. Boom, there you go. You probably made tens of thousands times more than just going, okay, we're only gonna give, I don't know, name of ESPN. We're gonna go give ESPN broadcast rights. You know what I mean? So
And they could even do both, right? They could
Yeah.
do the TV, make their ad revenue and everything, and stream on Twitch. And like you said, make it subscriber only. And I don't even think that's necessary, but it's an option.
I don't think it's necessary, but yeah.
And I think people would be plenty willing to spend the $5 or whatever it is, wherever you are, to watch with maybe a little less ads. Or, for instance, they could use different commentators for the Twitch broadcast versus the TV broadcast. And I think that'd be a little more interesting as well.
Yeah, something to differentiate it a little.
Speaking of partnerships with Twitch,
I like the way you did that.
I knew you would.
You're learning. Here we go.
I mean, we're on episode 9, Kit. If I wasn't learning, then we'd be up shit's creek without a paddle. Okay, so DistroKid is music program, right? Kit?
Yeah. So they're sort of like a publisher.
Okay.
Sort of less like a label and more like a group. But they are a group of artists who have their music licensed for Twitch Soundtrack.
Right.
So if you use Soundtrack, you could be listening to music from some of their artists. So they're the latest music-related group or company, or however you decide to term them, to enter into an agreement with Twitch regarding affiliate. The first one didn't go so well because it was the end user. If you recall, we were discussing that a few episodes back. It was the Monstercat Gold giving the users affiliate, basically paying to skip the first steps. It's only a small step, but it's still, you have to start and get going, get the ball rolling.
You know what? I actually watched a video from back then from Harris Heller earlier this week. And a long story short is he said, whilst yes, existing affiliates should not look at it as, oh well, they paid for affiliate, that makes affiliate less worth. He said people should look at it as the hard work and the community building, etc., that we've put in is the reward that we've got. as well as
Yeah,
the
and
affiliate.
I'm pretty sure you pointed out as well is that by getting affiliate that way, you're more prepared for what you have to do for growth moving
Mhm.
forward. rather than just
Exactly.
going,
Exactly.
okay, we've got it. Now what?
Yeah. So as
Um,
Otis said with that last one, you just paid for it. It's not.
yeah.
This is
So
different.
this
You are
one, this is
providing
different.
something
Yeah.
for Twitch.
So you're providing something for Twitch, and you've put a lot of work into your music already. So it's not
Something that
like, oh,
Twitch
you've just
needs as well.
paid, and yeah. So to get something back for that, especially if like your music is on soundtrack, and like I just said, right, you've already built something.
Yeah.
So like what kind of effort goes in and stuff. So you can then go from, okay, I've got affiliate fairly quickly because of doing this. I can now work with that because you know what effort's required to grow from there.
Oh, there's Banarco following. Thank you very much, Banarco. But yeah, like, and it's not as if they're going to be oblivious to how like networking works. It's not going to be okay, right? Well, now I've got affiliate. Go, boom. You know, this is where we are, and that's it. We go. They're gonna understand as artists that are networking to try and get their music out there, and using DistroKid, because it says here DIY distributor, so that's I'm guessing what they do. They distribute the music to allow people to use it in whatever way. Now, so they're already gonna know. Okay, right. Well, let's say I don't know any DistroKid artists, but let's just make out that DistroKid is the artist. So DistroKid goes into Twitch, goes, right, I'm affiliate now. I'm gonna play Destiny, just because this is obviously a topic that we get onto in this podcast. Let's go and play. So they go and play, and they're going to stream. They do. They don't see any growth. They're like, you know what? Let me go and look through the Destiny direct. Let me go and find some people that do this and have maybe 10 people watch. See how they start. See if I can ask them for some advice. See if I can maybe network with them and play with them, etc., etc. And it just builds upon, builds upon, builds upon. And then from that networking, you build a friendship, and that's where your true like growth comes from. You make friends with people. Like I've actually said to my fiance, right? I would consider people who I've made friends with on Twitch, so Otis, Lee, Kit, you, included, Bean, Ronin, like a bunch of people that come into my chat, chill, hang out, talk to me, and I go into their chats, chill, chat, hang out. I would actually consider them better friends than somebody who I was friends with 15 years, who I've like last year or the year before turned around and went, you know what, fuck you. Because he and somebody else did something to me, and it was basically unforgivable. Like, you guys, in the short period of time that I've known you all, have all been better friends to me than he ever was. And it's like mind blowing to think that, I could be friends with Otis, who lives in Canada, Rafe, who also lives in Canada, Sev, who lives in like California somewhere. I know it's Pacific. Like, all these people all over the world, and they can be better friends to me than someone who I've known for 15 years and grew up with. Do you know what I mean? So
I honestly think that's the best part of Twitch is
exactly,
just being able to know people from all over the world. It's amazing.
and that's
Yeah.
something that they will get the experience with, going into affiliate program this way. As Otis said, we've already built something. It's not like it's free. And he now just said, internet friends are real friends. For
He's right.
sure.
I agree.
100. For one reason, and one reason alone in my book, is you're not. It's easy to not be yourself, but if you aren't yourself, it's so easy for people to find out as well. Like, it's
Yeah.
so easy.
It's the fake people are very obvious to spot.
Exactly. Like, so when you make friends with people and they, stick around for months on end, like, it's quite clear to you. It should be quite clear. So it's like quite clear to me that me and Kit are good friends since we've, you know, developed this friendship from what was it, like September, November, probably even early, no,
Yeah.
August, like
August, yeah.
August, June,
Late
July
August.
last year. Like it like I said, it's crazy, but it's obvious to me that Kit sees me as a good friend and real, if you will. Um, the same way I see everybody else, just like the same. You, Otis,
Yeah.
because if not, I just turn around and go, well, like I come into my chat talking, all this positivity, etc., etc., and then I come into yours and I don't say anything and I just listen, and then at some point you turn around and go, oh well, I hate this dude because he's an ass and this, that, and the other. And it might not even necessarily be me that you're talking about, but I
Yeah.
just turn around and go, well, I know is supposed to be friends with that person, so he's quite clearly fake, and unfollow. See you fucking later.
The funny thing you mentioned that is I just experienced that same situation like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
With another name I won't mention, and he was talking about another person that I liked. I liked both of these guys, but this one guy in specific was talking about the other guy behind his back, and I was just like, you know what? I did the same thing you just said. Unfollow. I don't need that kind of person.
You don't
I don't
want,
want to be friends with that kind of person.
yeah, you don't want
Twitch,
to associate with them. You know what I mean? Because,
No.
like I said, the rising light podcast, rising ships mentality, we all build upon each other and grow together. It's
Exactly.
essentially the mentality. Yeah, the rising tides raise all ships. To give everybody the little mantra, spiel, whatever you want to call it, right? And there's no way you, Lee, want to grab that person who was talking shit and go, you know what? This is actually someone you want to go and watch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's I've seen so many people like that, and it's just makes me sad.
exactly. Okay, anything else on this Kit you want to cover, or are we moving on to?
Yeah, I think we've covered about what I wanted when I put it in the list.
All right. So
What
next
have you
is
got next?
the transparency report.
Hey, let's go with that. That's this here. Yeah, so Twitch recently released their 2020 transparency report, basically covering what they've been doing to try and crack down on things that shouldn't be on the platform.
Okay.
And that little chart that we've got there sort of basically is the general sort of the layered structure that they've got, as to, like, you've got the viewer level safety, you've got things like blocking people so you don't see them, you've got chat filters, you've got content warnings, so it's like you go onto a stream, sounds interaction with friends, I mentioned did game activities. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was just taking a moment to look.
Yeah, so was I.
So yeah, so yeah, conference and level takes us back to being which is the way that we make friends anyway.
Yeah, as Otis says, he wasn't talking about followers. Just to clarify, followers are different. But yeah, those of us that are, interacting with each other in each other's chats and actually being friends. You don't just I don't just come into Otis's chat because, oh right, well if Otis is on 400 followers, let's go and nick some. You know what I mean? Like, I think we put it perfectly in Silver's chat the other day when we was on about the networking thing. Networking to make friends is better because making friends is more human, and therefore it's not just like networking is purely for business purposes, whereas making friends is human interaction, as Banarco said, gives you a bond with said people, etc. Like, it's better than networking in every regard, because it should always be your And now there's Cujo following. Thank you, Cujo. But it should always be your top priority to encourage like interaction and like your human nature that you need to interact with other humans, rather than, okay, well, I'm just going to use this person to boost this number. You know what I mean? Like, because that is just, for one, you're
I've
being
seen it a lot.
for one, you're being a dickhead. Like, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
For two, like,
The episode.
it doesn't get anywhere, sort of thing. But all right, carry on with this, Kit. With the chat blocking
Yeah,
and
so we've got this little chart here, sort of like a triangle, but basically it makes sense. The stuff at the top is obviously the thinner stuff, the more focused stuff on like an individual like level, and obviously you've got, as you go down the triangle, you've got like things that affect more and more people across the platform, and obviously you've got the content behavior policies, it's the community guidelines, just like everyone on the platform. And it's just like some of these things you probably already know they exist. You probably had to deal with some of them at some point. I mean, maybe things like anyone who's a moderator will have dealt with like other moderators and mod view and stuff. Automod, there was a thing before. Like that can be useful, but can sometimes flag up things where they're not like used in a certain way, like very contextual. And they go on to in this document, they go on to explain like what each of them means, all of the layers and stuff. But I want to just point out, because we need to kind of quickly go through this, the 2020 safety updates, the bullet points slightly further up there.
slightly further. There we go.
Yeah.
Nudity in style.
Things, the key updates. So they've revised guidelines for acceptable attire and nudity. They've updated guidelines for regarding terrorism and extreme violence. That's things like and harassment and hateful conduct. I think we've covered the changes for that bottom one in a previous episode.
The one thing I will say with regards to the nudity and style, I don't know how you two feel about this. Like, I hate the whole thing with, you know, booby streamers. Like, these 12-year-old boys go into like Katie Cat's chat and go, oh, it shows your tits and this, that, and the other. Like, or any female streamers chat and say that. They'll say rude, derogatory things to them. Like, for one, yeah, that, you know, they're 12 or whatever age they are, like, don't pay them no mind. But at the same time, it's because there are female streamers that sit there with next to nothing on. But at the same time, can Twitch really say, you know, oh well, better be wearing a turtleneck sweater, Mrs. You know, Double D 6000 or whatever the bloody username you want to insert there. Like, they can't. You know what I mean? They can't leave.
Yeah.
Like, they can say, okay, well, if you're not wearing this, we'll ban you off our platform. But at the same time, they can't legally force them to wear it, and it is free to make it.
Pretty thin line.
Yeah.
You know, to tell people what you can and can't do. And I feel like it's always going to be a struggle for Twitch to balance that.
So where I was going with that is like Twitch are obviously going to be, you know, struggling with this forever. So saying like, as obviously Eddie put in a bit of a troll, Twitch uniforms for all. Like, I mean, they have the Twitch t-shirts and none of them are like low cut for females. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
It's kind of obvious what sort of attire they want you to wear, but there are female streamers that just want to go, well, here, you know, here's a little bit of cleavage, right? And then teenage boys get off on it. But the same thing is, it's like, if for whatever reason said female streamer that usually wears a low cut top decides they're gonna wear, you know, a hoodie, a tracksuit, whatever you want to call it, for their very next stream, and little Timmy, who's 13, comes in, starts calling her out on it, they wonder why they get toxic behavior, because they attract the most horrible portions of Twitch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And the same
I
thing
honestly,
with
I couldn't even imagine being a woman on this platform.
yeah.
It's got to be
I've seen
just
some
infuriating.
horrible things. Um, for those who know, I'm part of Favored. And there is someone I watch on a regular basis who's part of Favored, obviously supporting my clanmates, etc. Anne Prism, right? I met Anne a couple years ago playing Gears of War, playing Overwatch on Xbox. I met her through my cousin, Karma, who's a mod in my chat, but he's also a mod in Anne's chat. And let's put it this way: they will quite often just sit in Discord talking, and she's in the just chatting category, and all he's sat there doing is very slightly, being part of the conversation, but he's watching chat like a fucking hawk.
Oh yeah, you have to.
And it's because the just chatting section of Twitch, if you're a female, is literal suicide. Like,
Yeah.
it's you're asking for trolls essentially. But they shouldn't feel like they can't go into that particular category of Twitch just because
Yep.
Billy Big Balls over there wants to come in and call a woman a misogynistic name. Like, what the other day there was something sexual said in a chat. It was borderline. So my cousin let it slide, and normally he doesn't, because he has the same mentality when he's modding in my chat. He doesn't let it slide. He'll just straight up, fuck, you're out. Like, unless I turn around and say, like, acknowledge it and laugh it off because I know who you are, etc. He will just straight up, boom, ban your ass, you're out. And yeah, so he let that one slide, and then I saw it, and in the time it took me to type, and I was on my phone, so I'm not exactly slow. At the person, I can't even remember the fucking username. Get the fuck out of here, you dirty tramp, or whatever it was I was saying to stick up for Anne. My cousin had seen the second message and banned the cunt, and just said, "You know what, you dirty little rat, get out of here." I let the first comment slide. And like I said, they should not feel like that, but it's because of a certain crowd allows that, or they don't. People trolling in Twitch. Twitch will never do anything about it, just like they can't do anything to catch everyone out. You know what I mean? So,
It's next to impossible to control.
yeah, exactly. Just reading what Banarco put.
I mean, he has a point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their
But
service.
there
is a similar marker in the thingy. If you scroll down further down through some of the charts, a lot of the charts are showing like changes from the first half of 2020 to the second half,
Mm.
and saying like, okay, there's a lot more people using the automod tools and having actual moderators in the chat. In the second half of 2021, a lot more chat messages are being removed for violation of things. A lot more.
I'm sorry.
actions,
I'm
but
sorry. I just got to hateful conduct, sexual harassment,
yeah,
and harassment up from
that is
20K to 60. Are you
a massive rise.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, and with the
Because
ones before this, you could say, okay, well, Twitch is growing, so these sort of actions will grow with it.
Yeah.
You've got the same sort of people coming in as a general percentage of the population. The more people come in, the more of these actions you'll have to regulate. But this figure in particular was was a more significant increase. And I just want to pose the question here: is this because there are now more people on Twitch who are doing this sort of thing, and the people who are reporting it have to report more of it, or is it that there are more people reporting it?
Yeah. As Banarco
I could see
said,
it being a little bit of both.
the only way to do it is like herd mentality, protect everyone.
Yeah.
Report and ban, report and ban, report and ban. There will never be an end to trolls, but it's I think the only way they're ever gonna do that is if, like, let's say, and even then, there's ways around it with VPNs and stuff. Is if somebody gets reported for hateful conduct, sexual harassment, or threat, life threatening thing, for instance, something that we would all look at it and go, "Holy shit! I can't believe you just said that." Like, they should be like IP banned from the site. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But like I
Yeah.
said, there is a way around it with VPNs, etc. But that's where you've IP ban them from the site, and then you ban their account. So then they've got to do two things. They've got to change their IP with the VPN, and they've got to make a new account. Whereas right now, all they've got to do is make a new account. And I'm telling you now, these people have alternate accounts already ready to go. And 9 times out of 10, they will have 2 or 3 of them join your chat and spam the exact same fucking message. Like, I've seen it.
Encountered it. That exact.
Yeah, I've seen it in Anne's chat. Like, it's honestly sickening to see some of the shit that she has to put up with. And I'm glad that my cousin's there to fucking, help her out.
Yeah. Or to help to deal with it.
Yeah. But like Eddie said, yeah, this chart fucking insane, dude. Like, yeah, actually sickening, to be honest. I hate that there's so many people that have to put up with it. And then there's violence score, well, up from nearly 4K to 7.4. Fucking hell, terrorism what?
It's an insane jump.
Yeah, terrorism, propaganda, etc. Like 20 to 67. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. And the number of enforcement actions per 1,000 hours watched has gone from, they're both relatively small numbers, but if you
Yeah.
think about how many thousands of hours are watched, they're going to be small. But it's gone from 25 on the same significant figures to 69 on the same significant figures.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous. And then spam sort of grown as you probably would expect it to.
It's honestly good to see that Twitch has significantly improved on handling these
Escalation
situations.
to law enforcement.
Now that's gone down.
Yeah.
Now I would assume that has gone down because things that have been dealt with have been caught a lot earlier than they
Probably.
otherwise would have been.
Yeah. I'd imagine so. Says here, we believe this is largely due to the decrease in public gathering caused on the account of COVID-19. Lack of
That-
public gathering mean fewer places and events for people to direct violent threats.
Yep.
So that makes sense. Hence the peanuts have gone.
Not quite as large an increase, but it's good that like these things that need to work are working. We might not see them working all the time.
Yeah.
So, there's still work to be done. Room to fine tune things and get them just right and get more people on board and work to combat things. But it's progress. And given that
I was gonna say the thing what Eddie just said. Honestly, at the younger age, he could see himself saying dumb shit and stupid shit. It makes him wonder if age affects the comments. I would personally say yes, probably, but by the same token, I don't know about you guys, but at the age of 13, I knew what a porn site was, and I knew that Twitch was not it. Like, I knew YouTube wasn't it. You know what I mean? Like,
very true, but I think the thing is that kids use it as exactly that. Like, their parents know what Twitch is, and their parents know what a porn site would be as well. Seeing as how you can go into IPs and see what websites are being brought up now, and there's a lot more parental control.
controls.
Yeah. And they can get away with it on Twitch in a sense.
I couldn't access any of those sites on my mobile data because even though it was my account set up and I had control of my phone bill and everything, and the company knew that I was over 18, the account has those controls on by default.
yes, yeah, I could turn them off and on, off and
Turn
on.
them off.
So I I leave them off in case of like, randomly searching for something. Hello, lingerie for my miss, because that's crossed my mind a few times. But then, like, let's say I pass my daughter my phone so that she can watch something because her tablet's dead. Then, you better believe that the protect under 18s goes on, like, instant in my provider's app. And so anything that's considered over 18 content is like, nope. Nope.
It's crazy the amount of power you have over parental control now. Just
Exactly.
push of a button.
That's the other thing as well, is that you've got these young people who will just say dumb shit, who are probably given that probably more parents, especially if the younger people now, would be a little more computer literate and would know that those blocks exist. So they're running into the walls that previous generations of young people wouldn't have run into. So they need to find alternatives. And obviously Twitch is not one of those alternatives.
Yep.
But they're trying to use it as one, yeah.
Trying to use it as one, yeah.
Just to go to Banarco's thoughts on provocative streamers, says unless they keep it separately, Twitch is not really going to do much about it because I'm paraphrasing, by the way. You want to read it word for word to the stream, the chat, so that because the chat on Twitch will not appear in the YouTube video. Then be sure to let me know and you can do that. But I'm paraphrasing in the sense of, he essentially says that it's a money source for Twitch, and so therefore they're not going to stop it. They'll do, what looks like they're trying to stop it. They, have to dress a certain way, etc., etc. But at the same time, he also adds on the end, what they might not know is how they dressing a certain way affects other female streamers that do not. And you know what? That's a valid point. Because if you're not actively like trying to support fellow, as a female, if you're not actively trying to support fellow female streamers, you might not be looking for someone who dresses correct, someone who dresses less prerogative. And he also says, no matter whether it's in stream or game chat, young males or older males with no parent speaking to these females like they do has suppressed them till now. We as a community should prop up and praise all the female streamers who trash the trolls, still game and stream. Exactly. One of the big like female streamers that I look up to, and people will often say, "Oh, like, what's a female streamer you look up to?" Oh, I look up to Valkyrae, or I look up to Pokimane. Me? No. You know who I look up to as a female streamer?
I'm gonna guess Katie Cat.
Obi Katie Cat.
Oh yeah. She puts up with a lot of shit in her chat.
And she not only puts up with a lot of shit in her chat because she's female, and I will, rehash that she is female, because there are people that go into her chat who know she's trans and call her for being trans.
Yeah.
Like, it goes back to the All Lives Matter thing with BLM. Like, the same thing. You can't claim to be treating people equal until everybody is treated fucking equal.
Exactly.
The way I look at it, do I personally like go into Katie's chat and go, "Oh, she's beautiful. I would love to, do dirty things." But no. Have I gone into other trans streamers and done the same thing? No. Personally, I don't know whether it's just I haven't found one that's attractive to me, or it's, okay, they're trans and it kind of like turns me off. Do I think it's wrong? No. They can do whatever they see fit with their own body, as far as I'm concerned. Same thing with, as long as it's in the parameters of the law wherever you're living, go right a fucking head. I could care less. As long as you don't affect me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And why people should care on Twitch whether Katie's, being successful because she's trans. No. You should be happy she's being successful because of who she is. Who she's proud of certain aspects of her life. Like, and streaming is one of them. You know what I mean? So to sort of use that as a little bit of a segue, we're going to skip one topic real quick, which is the removal of a political advertising thing. And we're going to go on to a tweet from Katie Cat, which is basically Twitch put out a tweet that was promoting the fact that March is Women's History Month. And in an attempt to try and be,
As inclusive
as possible, they put an X instead of an E in the spelling of women. And as Katie Cat says, she's not even sorry. Don't call me that.
I honestly couldn't believe they went through with that.
I couldn't either.
It's unbelievable.
I seen one of the comments before. I can't remember whose it was. There's probably in this thread. But they'd seen an email about it, and they just passed it off as a joke. And I was like, "There's no way they do that. That's not real." And then the tweet came out, and they were like, "Holy shit! Did they actually just do that?"
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree. I thought it was troll too, and I went and looked, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
They have a
Very
follow-up
tone
tweet
deaf.
if you've got that.
But yeah, I've got the apology, essentially. They said, while we originally wanted to use the word that acknowledges the shortcomings of gender binary language, because obviously we basically have, labels which are he, him, she, her, they, them. We don't actually have like a gender fluid terminology for male, female, he, woman or man. We don't have anything, which is part of the reason why when there was people coming out and saying, I am, I don't identify as either. I'm non-binary. Then that's why you had all the trolls coming out and going, oh well, I identify as an attack chopper, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is because there is nothing in the English language. I don't know if there's anything in any language that sort of says you aren't a man or a woman, but kind of both. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, they said after hearing directly from you, including members of the LGBTQIA+ community on Twitch, we will be using the spelling women moving forward. We want to assure you that we have and will continue to work with the LGBTQIA+ community. We are still learning. Our good intentions don't always equate to positive impact, but we are committed to growing from experiences, doing better, and ensuring that we're inclusive for all. So, for one, it outlined they were trying to be inclusive. It backfired. Do you know what I mean?
I honestly think they should have gotten with a lot of those types of content creators and discussed what they thought they should have done.
There's a lot
before.
of them that are partners as well. It's not like they've not got a direct line to partners. From what I've heard, Twitch has like a direct partner Discord or something.
Yeah, not only that, but partners have you have like a representative basically.
Yeah.
And there's like you have a middleman you can talk directly.
There's a couple comments here. Get rid of Latin X. I don't know what that means personally, but
It's the same thing as Womaxon with the X. It's Latino, Latina.
oh,
Yeah.
With the X. Which is equally as bad an idea as Womaxon.
Yeah.
However you're supposed to actually pronounce that.
this is the thing. Like, because going back to that mentality of I was raised as people just do what the fuck you want as long as it's within the confines of the law and it doesn't affect me. Like, I read their tweet initially when I saw Katie's tweet, and I just read woman, and I was like, wait, what's wrong with this?
Yeah.
So I read through it slowly again, and then I saw the X. I was like, what
What
actual
got me about it
fuck?
is when I saw that tweet, the video was playing and the audio was on because I'd scrolled down to it, and it was pronounced woman, but the subtitles, the captions, had the X in it,
Wow.
so it's spoken the same. Or they put the X in the captions to try and be inclusive, even when the person
Yeah.
who was on the screen was just saying like the the name of like the month. This month is
Women's History.
Women's History Month. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one.
But yeah. And then we'll go back to this one real quick. Because Otis has informed me 4 minutes ago that the TWAB is out.
This is a topic I actually did kind of want to talk about a little bit. I have a lot of experience because I'm in a union. I've been in a union for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of the inner workings.
So long story short, Twitch had several anti-union ads running on the Twitch site to do with Amazon, because there was workers in one Amazon factory that wanted to organize a union.
Yeah.
So they got another Amazon factory, essentially workers, to say, no, you know what, we're treated great by Amazon. This, that, and we get this much, and it's so much better than not working for Amazon.
Is not only was this ad live, it was region specific. Obviously, from what I can read, it was targeted to that area. So
Wow.
it was something that could very easily have gone under the radar to everybody else around the world.
Exactly, Eddie. Eddie just says
Eddie
unions give
just put it. Yeah.
power back to employees and are amazing.
Yep.
My wife works for school district. Have a strong, a lot of schools do have a strong union, like school rep teachers and student assistants. One thing I will say on just before you talk, because you said you have a lot of experience with it, Lee. I worked in a backstreet garage until early last year. So, like right at the beginning of February, basically, I quit because the boss there was treating me like shit. Treating my friend, who I'm no longer friends with, the one I mentioned earlier, treated him like shit. We worked together. Had we had a union, we could have gone to that union, told them the situation, how we thought, and we could have had some help in sorting it out where neither of us had to lose our job over it. But we didn't have a I was mispaid basically. I was paid wrong.
Yep. And that's where a union would have came in and easily handled the situation and protected you for your job.
Instead, I had to wait until probably about September, October time for HMRC, which is the governing body that deals with minimum wage, etc. in the UK, to go in, do all kinds of manners of checks and research, etc., into my hours, into what I've been paid, tax checks, etc., as to what my boss had said I'd been paid, when then I actually didn't been paid that, I've been paid less. And then they got him, basically forced my ex-boss to reimburse what I had not been paid for the year that I worked for.
Wow.
So I didn't get a lot. It was only like 5 months that I worked for him, but it was like a year that I'd been waiting, because I first started working for him in the September and didn't get paid, this final check essentially until October last
Oh
year.
wow.
Because of COVID, like a lot of the people who do, the meet and greets with the employers and do all the research, etc., they were pulled from that team and put onto the COVID team to help distribute, furlough and etc., which I had no problem with, but at the same time, it's like it can't be that hard to find out that I'd been paid wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Honestly.
had I had a union, like you said, I would have had the power to go to the union and said, listen, sort this out. And I would have been probably better off because I one would have been had more power within the workplace to turn around to my boss and say, listen, you better sort this out or I'm going to my union and you will legally sort it out and guess what? You're fucking screwed.
Yeah. I've seen the exact scenarios like that play out.
Rather than me just basically getting paid wrong for the third month running and then going, do you know what? I've had a fucking enough of this. Grabbing my shit, leaving.
And that company loses a valuable employee because they don't have a union. I mean, granted, I think companies look at it as, oh, we don't have to pay for unions, and that's why, say, for instance, Amazon doesn't want the union because not only do they fight for privileges like paid time off, benefits, health care, but they help sort out payment for the employees as well. And it's just, it's a shame that a lot more companies don't have them. And I'm pretty thankful to be a part of one because I've seen the union save countless jobs where I work. Granted, I think a lot of people, I think you can see a union as a double-edged sword sometimes because there are the few employees that I would say abuse the union. But overall, it is a fantastic thing. And those instances are pretty rare also.
Mm.
Is there any more you want to talk on? Or
I will say that I'm pretty proud of Twitch for bouncing those ads out. That's pretty awesome because those are pretty disgusting ads that they were letting run.
Yeah, especially when it's been put in by like their parent company.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
But
Twitch's
what
statement
natural
was
to keep it alive.
Twitch does not allow political advertising. Ads should never be allowed on our service. We have removed these ads and are evaluating our review process to ensure that similar content does not run in future. We are grateful to our community for bringing this to our attention.
It is exactly what they needed to do.
So, I think that about covers all of our Twitch topics.
Certainly does.
Should we switch gears up a bit?
We'll cover the Hake emblem trick.
Yes.
So I'll let you
This is
talk
good
about this
stuff.
real quick.
Okay. So during the last weekend when Trials was live and then wasn't subsequently, I assume from your reaction you're aware of this, Lee. There were a group of people, mostly the Chinese community, who were playing there. They came up with a system to sort of win trade without doing any network manipulation to like go back and forth with the same group. So what they do is basically, in order to say, "Hey, I'm participating in this," you would have two of your fire team run the Hake logo emblem, and one of you wouldn't. That one who doesn't would have been the messenger in this case. What they do is the two people who weren't running the emblem would contact each other, add each other on Steam or whatever, and would roll a dice. Basically, would roll a random number between 1 and 10. Whichever team's messenger had the higher number would get the win for that game. And they do the usual thing when you're doing win trade. You'd swap to your characters that have got the active card. You'd claim the win, and then you go back into the matchmaking pool. And the fact that this was allowed to happen because of a change that Bungie had made to try and not protect but repair instances where people were getting kicked out at the start of matches. You'd be able to rejoin a match that you were in. But that also meant that you could rejoin on a different character.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not intentional.
Yeah, definitely not.
So since then, and as was pointed out, I think in this tweet, where was it? I can't quite see it there. Why do I not have that tweet open? Anyway, I think it was
Pigeon.
Pigeon. Was there another one? Oh yeah, there we go. The start of the thread was that they disabled it for the hackers, but not the hackers.
Yeah.
Which was quite a pun to make.
Yeah.
And
Great for
I
them.
just had a quick flick through some of the chat before, and they do mention it in there, so we'll get to that again later on.
Okay. So I remember that we need to find the TWAB.
Hacker Emblem will be removed from the game. The problem with that is that they'll just start it again with a different
I'll
emblem.
just pick another emblem. Yeah.
We'll get the
The
TWAB.
funny, it's crazy that even happened. It's such a genius way to go flawless. It's pretty mind blowing, honestly. I was shocked when I read that or watched that video. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, when you think about it,
I
look at back in Vault of Glass, right? Templar was a bitch. What did we do? We pushed him off the map.
Yeah.
Atheon was a bitch.
Find
What
a
did
way.
we did? We pushed him off the map.
Yeah.
So we always find a way as a community. We always find fucking like.
It's just the I think I couldn't believe Bungie let you join in on an alternate character. I thought they would have used the same method of, say, when you like get DC'd and you reload the game and you're in a strike, it goes, "Do you want to rejoin this activity?" Load you back in, you know. I thought it would have been something like that, but no, you could just swap characters. I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's not going to go well." And sure enough, figure out an exploit.
Alright, Bonarco said is in the endgame, gents. They allowed those ads to get a general sense of what will be the future for the community. So it's great that they list exactly.
Yep.
5. There's 5. We've seen it before. There's 2 things: control and money. Give you money, and you give up control. Pretty much, yeah. It didn't take that long for Snapchat, Twitter, or Facebook. DJ Triple comes with the response to the Atheon and Templar thing. Who needs guns? Just push them.
well, we did a similar thing with was it Garden?
God,
The Harpy encounter?
yes.
Where
I
you,
was
like,
the big
knock him
user.
off the edge.
I didn't use the push him off the edge. I was a big user of the
He's got a stack of money for himself.
yeah. I was a big user of the what's it called? You know, where he won't move backwards if you have like void. The grenade that the hunter and the warlock have.
Yeah.
Yes.
The area of effect one. I was a big user of that. Like, I think maybe you run Garden with me when I was running it with Hobo and them back on Xbox Kit.
Yeah.
Basically, if you saw me on my Warlock,
That's what you do.
that's what I was doing. Yeah. Basically, if anybody else running a Warlock was running the well, guess what? I was on top 3 Void. Whilst you lot were all breaking the eyes, I was holding my grenade. And then as soon as the eyes broke, I threw my grenade behind the boss and it didn't move. And we just got to shoot him for free for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and 5 just follows up with what we were talking before, is that it shows how broken Trials is as a game activity.
Yeah.
It feel that this is necessary.
Exactly.
And it does show that people feel that this is necessary because it's spread. It wasn't just constrained to one region.
I think what was the statistic. It was like 60% of all flawlesses
Yeah,
this
something
weekend.
stupid like 60% of all
It
falls.
was like 55.
No, 55.
Yep.
We're all like below subpar 5 kill people. Like, come on. It's gotta be something in the algorithm that says, okay, there's a bunch of people that have gone flawless and they've only got 5 kills. Oh, and a bunch of them were in the same lobby? What? How is that even possible?
I honestly think this just shows that I think they should shelf trials again and go back and
It's
rework it.
online for now, from what I could tell in the TWAB. If you want to quickly go over this
Ooh.
to it.
Yeah, we'll go over those. We'll go into those in a moment. I agree with 5, and a big vocal point on Twitter has been the clan founder for Favored of Hathmatic. He agrees essentially with what 5 says. Well, 5 mentions Recov, and he basically Hath says he believes it Recovs and cheaters that are like making it so bad, like making trials so bad. Because you think about it, you go into trials, come up against a team, and you look at their like trials report. They've never played trials, so or they might played a couple games, like 0.8 or whatever.
Yep.
So you go, you know what? I'll do a little bit quick more. Obviously, you don't get a lot of time in between like starting the game. Do a little quick deep dive into like look up their stats in Crucible overall, and they're a 0.5, 0.8, in Crucible. And you're like, okay, I'm pretty confident we're gonna win this, and then you get stomped 5-0. Bit obvious that person got somebody to recover their account. Do you know what I mean? Or
I honestly don't think recovs are as big of an issue as hackers.
the hackers are the big. He says basically the hackers are the biggest issue, but right there second is recov, because
I think recovs are a product of the game mode being bad. Because if the game mode was good and rewarding for those 0.8s and 0.5s and 1.0 players, they would be in the playlist on their own.
Yeah, that's essentially what Hath says as well. Is like those players should be rewarded and encouraged to improve themselves rather than go, okay, streamer 69 who does recovs on a weekend, go and recov my account and get me flawless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quickly, then we'll move on with regards to getting towards the TWAB, the meat and bones at the end, the Destiny portion of the podcast. Brendan Thorne, who is a staff game designer at Bungie and works on the raids and dungeons, had this to post earlier this week, basically looking for somebody to join the Rad team to be a raid designer. So it goes to show that they're looking to improve raids alongside existing raids so far, but they want to hire more people to basically make the experience better. I personally enjoy Deepstone Crypt a whole heap, and hope they do more beautiful like raids like that.
I agree.
And then obviously he mentioned in there underneath the tweet was that they were doing a developer deep dive into the Deepstone Crypt yesterday. So if you want to go and watch that, then they've got it on Bungie's YouTube channel. So go ahead and watch that. But yeah, this right here, the hot fix that we've got right here with regards to different changes, and then the tech blog as well. We basically just wanted to cover to say it's good that they're doing these. This one right here was the fact that the 12-man raids and shit have survived this hot fix, but I've already been on Twitter and seen that they do not survive the TWAB. So let's go into the TWAB.
And so it begins.
So International Women's Day. They have a couple things in regards to Women's History Month. Nice new emblem if you pre-order something.
Oh, are they doing an emblem and pen? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Looks
I will
like
definitely be getting one of those.
I need to be is where the profits are going to.
need to be. What is it?
I need to be .org. It is. I'll open it. Global Organization for Women Technologists.
So something that's
Awesome.
actually, affected.
Yeah.
So there's nothing personal, kid. We've heard feedback that enemies are a bit more teleporty since launch of the online, especially now in activities
Finally.
like Battlegrounds and Gambit. Noticed this happening as well. Been investigating. There's several reasons why AI can teleport in Destiny. For example, we would rather teleport a boss that is stuck behind a door than have a player unable to finish the mission. However, we believe most of the recent uptick caused by new issues with some of our network logic. You may remember in the 12 last September, we mentioned that would be happening with a 3.0.0 update, which was basically the Beyond Light update, and that they basically one of the big changes they made was previously had two streams of network traffic, one for gameplay simulation stuff like AI, and other handling activity stuff like playing music, showing objectives, etc. Whereas it was all combined in one with regards to update 3.0.0. They use a highway analogy, balls enemies, wielding flamethrowers and seasons of frozen. Yeah, a whole lot of them. A whole lot of them. As you may have noticed, we've created encounters for all the enemies chosen. Yes, a lot of them. Actually, I love there's so many enemies. It makes it more challenging. Working on improvements. Reduce the amount of teleporting, network traffic. I think it
Wow, so the enemy density is affecting it, basically.
long story short, it's okay, but then also the fact that obviously there's network traffic reading all those enemies.
Yep.
We've kind of covered the deep dive into the Stone Crypt. So obviously they fired up the streaming game showcase Stone Crypt raid. It was a great time as our developers provided commentary and behind the scenes insight while our fire team battled through the boss fights. Did you miss it? Okay, saved you a link. There's the whole thing. So if you want to go and watch it, boom, there you go. It probably links to their YouTube channel, which I already said.
Yeah.
Probably go and watch on.
Well, it's their Twitch rather.
Article that also covers like an interview with the dev, which they had basically right after this stream that they did for the developer deep dive. They had a Maze, who we mentioned earlier, read this document like to his private. Don't boo, vote. We're rapidly approaching spring, but we're already planning for Festival Lost this year. We're excited to share previews of two concepts we have for the Eververse, which could purchase for silver or earned by Bright Dust. Movie monsters or dinosaurs. Two larger than life legends battle for the control over this year's Festival of Lost. And I think part of this is the whole hype behind Godzilla vs Kong this year.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for a slice of that.
Yeah. Universe is big enough for both of them. So one goal, they have one only goal, winning your. Right, so let's have a look at these real quick. Not even going to read policy. I don't know about you two, but I actually kind of like the dinosaur sets.
Oh, I'm going dinosaurs all day.
Like,
See,
Those look amazing.
I just like how hilarious the helmets look.
yeah. I kind of
I'm not
like
quite
the
sure why
hunter
there's
set
so
in
much
the
of that
monsters.
red on the Titan.
Yeah, I can get behind that. The hunter monster set does
The
look
Hunter
nice.
one, maybe the Warlock one as well. Actually, I quite like that one.
Oh, and the monster.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I like the like. Oh, I've got a trike
true.
skull on my
Because
head.
that
That looks sick.
cool over the top. Yeah,
And it's funny as well because like the Titan's the T-Rex, which is the Titan of a
Yeah.
dinosaur. And
The Titan set alone is winning for me there.
Yeah.
I'm voting for that all day.
and the hunter set kind of looks like a raptor, which was a apex hunter.
Yep.
So it
That's
makes
pretty
sense.
cool.
I think they make sense. I do kind of see where they were going with the swampish stuff. I like the hunter stuff. Titan, like. So if it was just just the Titan set,
like
the
Cyclops or
dinosaurs would win. If it was just
Yeah.
the hunter set, then the monsters would win for me. The warlock set is the one that's sort of making me torn, and I am a warlock main, although I play all three fucking equally as good. And I just prefer, we had Season of the Hunt stuff, we had all the bone shit all over us for the Season of the Hunt, and I fucking loved it, especially on the hunt, on the warlock. So, this whole get up here with the spikes on spawn, the spike helmet, I love it. So yeah, I'll be voting, I think, for the dinosaur set myself. New Prime Gaming stuff, which is new. It's
basically just saying what's on.
what's on right now.
And the player support experts, the player support report, the things that we know about and things that we're
Yeah.
looking at changing.
So Lightseeker, they announced it's going to be fixed. Frozen Time Ornament, they were going to fix well. Trials of Cyrus, last weekend Trials of Cyrus.
Right.
They
I've
unexpected issues.
I've got a question about this, right? They say in the Lightseeker thing, an issue was resolved where the Triumph didn't complete for players after they found all the weekly feathers. Right. For the Bird of Prey quest, right? This Triumph will not reward retroactively, and you'll need to re-earn the Triumph for it to register on their account. How do you do that if you can't pick up the feathers a second time? If you've already got them all?
They have put the feathers back.
Right. So if you've already collected them, you can go and collect them again.
Yeah.
Or will be able to. Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Anyway, carry on.
I muted a minute because of my daughter.
Yep.
Quest Archives, Trials of Cyrus, that's where I was. Unexpected issues. While these issues are being investigated, Trials of Cyrus available to players. Have more information available. So Trials is deactivated yet again. Reading that.
Yeah, from the sound
They should shelf it and work on it.
Yeah, I could. As an idea, I could get behind. Work on the reward structure for it. It's not.
Yep.
Enticing.
Yep.
When Beyond Light released, one of the changes made test quest archive, uncompleted quests are not in player's inventory. Quest is advised to visit the quest archive near Postmaster Tower. I've always said this isn't the best place for it. It's almost impossible to know where it is unless you know exactly
In a
where they're
horrible
talking
spot.
to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know why they wouldn't have placed it somewhere near the vaults or maybe next to Rahul, something more obvious location for sure.
Well, there's a whole workshop.
Spot.
When you first spawn in the tower courtyard, there's a whole workshop thing to the right, where
Yeah,
they're like working
yep.
on sparrows or whatever, or robots, the
That
little
would have been a
robot.
good spot.
Put it in there.
Yep.
It's tucked away. It's out the way. Yeah, okay. Looks a bit weird having a quest thing in there, but you could just, lore wise, you could just spirit it away as, okay, well that's the mechanic access to the power network or whatever. Kind of like what we have the recording player in the helm that we get titles and messages and Amanda Holiday's messages from. Like, there's going to be access like that elsewhere, so you could just go, okay, well the quest thing is just that, but it's in the mechanics shop. It doesn't, just because it's a quest giver essentially, it doesn't need to be in a spot where it would be a quest giver. It could just be in a random spot. People know where it is. It's easy to get to. Easy to describe where it is. Say it's in the mechanics shop right as you spawn in on the right hand side of the tower courtyard. Right, just the other side of the wall to Rahul. Boom. Instantly, every player knows where that is. But no. And then we go on to the movie of the week stuff. Hey, Hath. There we go. I've actually watched this a whole bunch, and I helped this when I said to you last week, Kit, that we have DMs with regards to content and stuff within Favored. This was what I helped Hath with. There was a couple lines in here that he wasn't 100% on, and he wanted somebody to sort of who was more had a more enjoyable experience with Gambit. He didn't really hate it essentially. He was doing it for his pinnacle. And I said, well, whilst I enjoy it more in a team, whenever I play Gambit, I do try and enjoy it. It's not okay, Gambit's bad, fuck this, I'm doing it for my pinnacle and I'm out. Like most of the community, I am saying that, but at the same time, I'm like, but let me try and enjoy it. Gambit would actually be, if it was, properly implemented as it should have been, it probably would have been my game mode that you would have found me in. It's PvE, but with hints of PvP. Have I lost you?
No.
Oh,
Gambit is actually one of my favorite game modes.
Yeah. So he asked for some feedback and sent me the video, and I watched it, gave him some feedback. I actually said, because there was 2 lines that he wasn't too sure about, I actually said remove the first half of the line but keep the second half in. But he removed both. And actually watching it back after he'd removed both, I really enjoyed it anyway. I was like, you know what, it was a good job he didn't leave one of them in, because it might have been that I watched that one where he left the one in that I said to leave in, and then went, you know what, actually remove them both. So, he didn't just take my commentary or whatever, my advice, and just blindly go. He, made his own executive decision, as you always should. And go, you know what, actually, if one of them is going to be cut, I'm going to cut both. And then cut both of them. And then now he's on Movie of the Week, so I love it. I've seen
work.
this one going around, this play of the game from Overwatch,
yeah,
and it's
that's
actually really, really well done. So if you haven't seen that, go and see it. But yeah, Path on Twitter is fucking great. And then we've got artists that they cover. Then they go on, shutting down news of the week. I saw someone mention something about Fanarko saying overload. What did you say? You said shush. We're getting to that bit. What were you on about?
Right, yeah, it was just saying about the vote between the monsters and the dinosaurs.
Mm.
I was like, should we get into that bit? He also
Okay.
said we were talking about the increase in teleporting, and he was like, I just thought overload teleporting all the time was normal, and no, it's very, very, very irritating.
Yeah, it is fucking annoying. I mean, they're not on about that sort of teleport anyway. They're on about, you go into the Nessus battleground before you do the rite of proving, right?
Oh,
There's a
yeah, so like
Centaurian that will spawn
spear,
that's
spear.
that's a yellow bar health, and you will start damaging him, and then he'll just teleport, and he's like 2 platforms back towards where you've just come from, and it's actually stupid insane. When it first happened to me, I was like, well, that's not supposed to happen. That's clearly an issue. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, but that I hope as part of that pass they do turn around and go, do you know what? Overloads do teleport a little too much as well. Let's turn that down a bit. But we'll find out, I guess, when we come.
Yeah, because I mean, if they're looking at that and going, well, that teleporting's an issue and it's happening too much, maybe they'll look at like other things that are teleporting that are supposed to teleport and going, are these being affected? And if not, are they tuned right?
Yeah.
Lee, do you think we've missed anything or overlooked anything from the Twab or anything we've covered?
No, I think we're pretty good.
We're good. Okay. Sounds like a good time to round it out then.
Yeah, we will.
We're really good on time this time.
Yeah, very good. Even with a few tangents earlier on. So shh. God damn it. I'm trying to talk now. Come on.
She's trying to take over the podcast.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she woke up about 20 minutes ago, and I like muted. I went, I'll get you your thing in a minute. She just laid there quietly, and I gave her a tablet, and she's been vocal ever since. So, Lee, any closing remarks? Anything you want to, plug? Give us a shout out to your channel, whatever.
My Twitter, Twitch, it's all the same. Solidus_Lee. SOLIDUS. Lee. LEE. My Twitter and Twitch are both the same. So.
And in regards to that link, for YouTube at least, it will be in the description below.
Yes.
For anybody
YouTube's
who
in the
wants
description.
I
It's
mean,
in the works. I am slowly.
I mean, the
editing
video
stuff.
when we put up this on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I'll put your link to your
Twitch.
Twitch
Perfect.
in the
Good stuff.
description. Okay, so, Kit, do you want to talk about platform status with regards to Spotify?
Yes, we do have a bit of an update, and I am so glad that it's all working now. So, as of last night, we now have properly functioning podcast feed that works on all of the platforms.
Nice.
Getting it to work with Spotify was a bit of a pain for the last episode, but I'm really glad it worked. So now, if you want, if you are listening to this live or you're watching this on Trep's YouTube or whatever, and you want to see the previous episodes and don't really want to watch them or you want to listen to them on the go or whatever, we have a slew of podcast platforms that you can listen to. So we've got we've got a Google, we've got a Spotify, we managed to get Amazon yesterday, TuneIn, which for a while was the only one that worked properly, but they're all synced up. Really glad for that. I also added Stitcher and Podbean, so if you use any of those services I've listed, you can just search for Rising Lights, and you'll find us.
And I believe Spotify was where you listened to the previous episodes prior to Odyssey one, right? With
Yes,
5.
yes, I did. I re-listened to that one this morning as well at work.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's basically that. You plug Twitter, Twitch. You said you're working on YouTube, so I will be looking out for that.
Yep.
Myself. Is there anyone you would like to see on the podcast or would like to feature with, kind of like we had Otis and 5 last week?
Yeah, I
if we were to
enjoyed the
have
double
you.
feature. That was nice.
Yeah.
One person I really recommend. Well, actually, there's two. Is Tobine, or Toby as he's called a lot. He's an awesome guy, really good gamer, and Save the Blade, another really awesome, genuinely nice guy. and they're great at PVE activities. They're just good guys all around. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I think 5 and I'm
pretty sure
Otis.
we've had both of those
Yeah,
mentioned, or we're already on one of the lists. So that just solidifies the
yeah.
the thinking behind that.
Like I said, it's all
Sorry.
DJ in chat. All right. So, with that being said, we enjoyed having you on, Lee, and people like you who listen to them in the other places as well. Like it makes us, and you also gave us feedback saying, fucking before I asked you to come on this week, he was like, dude, you guys are actually really good at this. Keep going, sort of thing. So
Yeah,
we
I'm loving it.
We very much appreciate it.
Some really good episodes. The Witty episode was great. Wraithbound was good.
Yeah,
just a lot of good content, and I think you guys got something good here.
Yeah, appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it. Well, thanks very much for coming on.
It was an honor. It was a pleasure.
And watching. Trev, have you got any idea where we're going to go next for people who are live?
Yeah, for people who are here live, I've got 3 raid targets in mind. One of which we mentioned earlier, one of which we've had on the podcast, and one of which I very much support myself. And he's not in any way Destiny related, but we've mentioned him a few times on the podcast. Especially the Witty episode, because I introduced Witty to him. Him to Witty even. So Witty now watches him. And that is, so the last one is Kotagami.
Yeah, the first 2 I'd seen on my little sidebar. So I could figure out who they were, and then Kotagami.
One of them I mentioned earlier, when we were talking about female streamers, and that's Anne.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one that we've had on the podcast is 5.
Yep.
So, where are we going? Where do you want to go? Where do you think? I kind of want to raid Anne just because favored, But at the same time, I've got a little shout out command I can do for that.
I mean, it'd work. Numbers are good for it.
But at the same time, Cody is about to do ALGS grind again tomorrow. So if anybody's interested in pro level Apex, and they're both playing Apex right now, those 2.
Do you want to? God, I don't know. I'm terrible at this. I'm so bad with it all the time. Even on my own channel, it comes to the end, and I'm like, now where are we going? Who am I going to raid? Half the time, it's not because I've got nobody to raid. It's that I've either got too many people, like if I'm playing Destiny, and I've got loads of people who are also playing Destiny. Like, I'll go to one of these, but which one?
That's me.
Or I'm doing Saturday or Sunday, and I don't really want to raid someone who's doing Destiny because I'm moved my channel away from that game for the time being. So I want to keep it.
You see, I've been playing a lot of Apex recently, so part of the reason. And it's mostly down to Cody. He makes it look fun whenever he's playing pub.
Well, that sounds like a good time. Take us over there.
Okay, then we're gonna raid Mr. Kotagami then, I guess. Whilst he himself isn't favored, I'm still gonna just shout out the favorite streamers real quick. So for those on YouTube, you won't see this. It's gonna be in Twitch chat. If you want to watch live, obviously link is in the description. Same to Solidus Lee's channel and Kitsune's channel. And then let me get that shout out real quick because I've set up the command. I might as well.
You look death in his beady eyes and you spat in
Oh,
you fiend.
And now we get raided by we get raided by Project 88. How you doing, dude? We just finished up the podcast with Lee. If you want to check it out, we've got it going up on Spotify later this week, as well as what the other platforms, Kit. Whilst I get these other commands ready to go.
Okay, I need to reel off the list again. So as well as Spotify, we've got Amazon and Google, and then we've got a slightly smaller TuneIn. And then if you happen to use Podbean or Stitcher, we're on there as well.
Yeah, we just finished. So we'll just pass the love forward. Don't worry about it. With basically what the podcast is all about, anyway, is building our own communities, and basically like I said earlier when we was discussing it with Lee. Lee, there might be people who.
All right.
Thank you very much for the follow, Sten. But there might be people who are part of my community and Kit community that don't know Lee, and vice versa. That when they come on here, they think, you know what, really vibe with these guys and hang out and maybe come back later on in the week when we're live on our own sort of respective channels and stuff like that. So, rising ships raise all rising. Fucking Jesus.
Rising tide.
Yep,
raises all
there you go.
ships.
Rising tides raise all ships. The whole mantra for it. Let me double check that I'm getting this command correct, because basically, as you came in, I just done a shout out for my clan. A bunch of them stream. There's a whole lot of them there that I like watch myself. Karma Comes Around is my cousin, so, and Hathmatics, great dude, is just won movie of the week for Destiny. So, well, one of them. So be sure to check them out as well if you want. Let me just double check this command because I want to get. There you go. Yeah. If anybody is interested in maybe following the clan on Twitter, then there's the. Oh, helps if I spell Twitter right, hey.
That would help. Yes.
Rip. There we go. There's a link to the favored clan Twitter. It used to be favored Destiny, so if you go over there and you see, oh right, well I'm already following. That might be why. Now favored FPS because a bunch of the players in the clan are no longer playing Destiny, put it on a back burner and play in other games. So it doesn't make sense to just be favored Destiny sort of thing. Like a lot of us playing Apex, Overwatch, Call of Duty, that sort of thing. So but like I said, rather than drag this out any longer, let's go for our raid target, which was Mr. Kotogami. He is going to be doing ALGS, which is pro level Apex Legends. Starting tomorrow, they will be doing the qualifiers, which aren't broadcast anywhere else other than competitors' channels. So obviously, his team, there's 3 of them that will all be streaming, but there are teams that are broadcasting their own point of views. Then the finals are broadcast by Play Apex on Twitch, which is a EA ran Twitch channel that is to do with the whole ALGS. It's all connected to EA and Respawn. So if you want to see, high level Apex, great place to go. And we're going to head on over to Kotogami right now. And I appreciate everybody that goes across, get some channel points for yourself. But then also, thank you very much, Lee, for being on. We appreciate you coming on.
It was a pleasure.
And,
It's fun talking to you guys.
appreciate you for doing another one, Kit. I know we're in this together now at this point, but I don't think I point out enough how much I actually appreciate you agreeing to do this. So.
No, I mean it's something to do on a Thursday that I otherwise probably wouldn't be doing.
Okay.
It's
Alright.
also a lot of
if anybody is subbed to the channel, just hit him with the love beam emotes, the ones I've just put in chat. If you are not subbed to the channel, then just hit him with the generic Twitch raid emotes, which are these two in chat. And my Twitch didn't give out this week, so there we go. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.